Well, hey guys, what's happening? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and you are listening to the Timmy podcast, Life in the Meantime. Thanks so much for jumping on here with me. My desire, big time, is, hey, how can I, in my own life and in other people's life, help them realize that they can have a life full of fulfillment, joy, and a one that scratches the surface of extraordinary, right? I think that we're here, so we might as well take advantage of the time we have on earth, and let's figure out how great we can make our life and the lives around us in the meantime. So today, we're definitely going to do a little bit of a new year kind of conversation, right? Google just released that their top searches for 2022, one of the top questions was, how can I change? Now, I think that's really fitting because this comes out so close to the new year, and the fun part about the calendar starting over is that the idea of change is always in the air, right? And you can try to deny it. Everyone tries to say, like, oh, I'm not a New Year's resolution person or whatever, but I think that at some level, every person feels like the new year is an opportunity for a reset. I'm a sucker for it. I always love to figure out, oh, what new things can I do? What things can I take away, right? So I would say that the majority of people, even if it's something small, are thinking, how can I hit the reset button? So let's get back to the question. Can I change? At first, when I saw that was the top question, it kind of made me sad. I was like, oh, man. Are there that many people who feel like their life sucks, like that they're unhappy and they don't want to be who they are, right? Then I got thinking about it a little bit deeper. And here's what I came up with. There might be some people who are truly unhappy, and I hurt for them. But I think what most are searching for is not a complete change. Like, they're not saying, I want to be someone else. But what they're really asking is, how can I grow? How can I add progress to my life? How can I cultivate momentum in who I am, right? So personally, I love me, okay? I am thankful for who I am. I appreciate the outlook that I have on life. I'm grateful for my body, energy, and passion. A lot of it is like, man, I just feel like it was a gift I was given, right? I'm not an egomaniac, but I'm happy with who I am. Yet, there are areas in my life that I'd like to change. So you could put me in the category of someone who types in on Google, how can I change? I didn't, but I'm saying that it doesn't always have to be a sad thing. And I think it's really less about change and more about leaning into habits, disciplines, and practices that help create progress in my life. Often people are searching for happiness, okay? So they seek out antidotes to try to tip the scales towards pleasure rather than pain. But a statement I'll never forget, because I find it to be really true, is that progress equals happiness. Okay? Progress equals happiness. Meaning that if at the root of the question, can I change, stems from feeling like you have a lack of happiness or joy in your life, then you have to audit your actions, behaviors, and thoughts and figure out whether or not they're creating some sort of progress. We could sit here and I could go through the list of areas where you would like to see progress in your life, like things like your marriage, friendships, spiritual life, finances, physical health, mental health, or career, and maybe it's all the above. But I actually don't really feel like I have to do that and sit here and name them all with hopes that I'd hit the bullseye on yours, because you know the areas in which you would like to see progress, just like I know the areas that I'd like to see progress. And up until this point, you've either brushed them to the side, procrastinating, hitting objectives, or have lied to yourself long enough where you just don't really think about them. But as soon as this idea of how can I create progress comes into your mind, it's only going to take a few seconds to think about the areas that you know you would like to see progress in. One of the reasons we might hesitate to jump in, all in on working towards creating progress, and especially for me, and for creating momentum in our lives, is because unfortunately, we've probably tried before and came up unsuccessful. And at least that's how we saw it, right? So the obstacle keeping us from leaning into the faith that we can grow is the fear of, what if I don't? Okay, so the obstacle keeping us from truly leaning into the faith of growth is the fear of, what if I don't? And that fear is real, but it's usually because we're spending too much time thinking about the finished product, right? The finished goal, rather than rejoicing each step of progress. The only reason you would create a vision for your life is that you want to see it fulfilled and you want to be successful at attaining it. The issue is we connect success to its completed form. But I love Earl Nightingale's definition of success, which says success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Okay, so success isn't just having a bunch of money or having the career you wanted or, the finished product. Instead, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, that each day you're taking steps towards actually seeing the goal happen, right? So if you're trying to create momentum in your physical health and your goal is to lose 20 pounds in 2023, then you have to train your mind that you are successful towards achieving this goal each day that you exercise and choose the salad and water over the fast food and soda. You're not just successful once you've dropped all the weight. It's in the process that you become successful. You're successful each step you take towards seeing the ideal realized. Here's a personal example for me. I desire to be a successful entrepreneur. Otherwise, what would be the point of being one? Specifically, I want to create a speaking, writing, and content career that is helpful to as many people as possible, and I want it to be my main source of income, okay? So 2022 was the first year where I began doing the work of creating momentum towards the goal. Because I'm still not 100% kind of branded as a writer and a speaker, and I don't even have a book yet, it wasn't like speaking gigs were just pounding at my door, right? In fact, I didn't even get my first one until put on the calendar until May of 2022. So in the meantime, I ran my glorified side hustle window cleaning business, Streakers, to make some extra cash. And at first I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I'll build a window cleaning company, hire out a few people to run it, and then can use that income to build the career I really want. But I quickly realized that would take a ton of energy, and I wouldn't be able to really build the thing that I want to build, which is in the meantime as a speaking career, right? And I also realized I don't want to do the necessary steps that it'll take to know how to run a large window cleaning business. Like that would take 5 to 10 years, a lot of effort, a lot of conferences, a lot of courses, and that's just not what's in me, right? Like I realized, hey, I could do this, but that's not the thing I love or I'm passionate about. So I'm basically just creating a job for myself. And that's not what I want to do. So I went on through 2022 getting more gigs on the calendar for speaking, but instead of celebrating the progress, I would keep getting discouraged because it wasn't at the level where I want it to be. And mainly that's the level of, hey, I can get rid of all the other side hustles because this is my main source of income. Luckily, I really do have amazing people in my life who would help point out how much progress I actually made in 2022. And that progress is I finished the year speaking 31 separate times within 10 different events, right? So some of those events I would speak multiple times. And so I thought about that and I was like, wow, that's huge. That's a success. People were literally calling, DMing, or emailing me about speaking for their event. And before 2022 wrapped up, I had already penciled in 3 separate engagements for 2023. So I'm already beyond where I was last year at this point. So that's momentum, right? And on top of that, when I would work hard to create consistent content on my podcast or my blogs or just on socials, I really would have plenty of people kind of reach out and say, hey, keep it up. You're doing awesome. Like, don't stop, And so those are the reminders of, okay, I am taking steps towards the career that I want, right? So my point is, I'm not at the level of John Maxwell, Gary Vee, or Simon Sinek, but that doesn't mean that I'm not being successful at cultivating momentum for my speaking career. One intentional date night doesn't create a next level marriage, right? It's the consistent date nights, conversations, and pursuit of your spouse done over and over again that do. But that doesn't mean we can't celebrate that each one of those moments is helping us take steps of success towards a healthy and happy marriage. So, with all that said, I'm going to leave you with a formula that I have been leaning into the latter half of 2022, and I'm going to continue to lean into for 2023 and beyond. It's 2 practices that I believe help you feel like you're becoming the person you know you could be and create massive momentum in your life. It's the practices of living from grace and producing with excellence in the meantime. Living from grace, simply put, is reminding yourself that your whole life is a gift, that God has created you on purpose and for a purpose, that the things you do that you naturally gravitate towards that are helpful, encouraging, and inspiring to others are the things that you want to do, right? The gifts and talents that just seem to come effortlessly. The fact that each morning you wake up and remind yourself that the day wasn't earned, but it was given, and that the value God placed on you was something he saw as worth dying for. That at this very moment, there are things in the background God is working together for your good. When we live from that foundation of grace, the next practice of producing with excellence will come naturally as well, I believe. This means that while I'm here on this earth, I have a job for me to do. Yeah, it literally might be your actual job, but it expands much further than that. It's the fact that your current reality is an outcome of the production you have been putting out, okay? Your current reality is an outcome of the production you've been putting out. And I'm not talking about hustle culture, right? But I am talking about the fact that what you think about and what you do matters immensely. Are you producing in the areas that matter? Are you producing the type of things that create the outcome you hope to see in your marriage, job, finances, mindset, physical health, and spiritual life? Scripture tells us that where you sow sparingly, you're going to reap sparingly. If you put out little effort, little love, that you're going to receive little love, little effort, right? But it also tells us on the flip side that where you sow abundantly, you reap abundantly. Again, this isn't about holding the title of being the hardest worker in the room, but it is about recognizing that any momentum or progress we want to see in our life will take necessary effort. If you're rooted in the place where each day you thank God for all the amazing blessings, friendships, and opportunities in your life, and your compass has you heading in the direction of figuring out the ways to impact and improve those around you, then I believe your default desire will be to produce with excellence. Remember to flip the script. You aren't trying to just change yourself to become someone else. They're already taken, right? God has created you to be you, so lean into his grace, but also realize there will be action steps you need to take to produce the life you're aiming at. But you're successful the moment you start taking the steps, not just when the final ideal is met. I'm thankful for this year and the groundwork it helped me set and the clarity it provided, right? Without it, I just wouldn't feel the confidence to keep taking some of these steps that are a little scary and a little bit risky. So in the meantime of 2023, remember to lean into grace, produce with excellence, and that God is rooting for you. And so am I. 2023 can be a great year for you to spark some momentum and some progress. And I think along the way, you'll realize, hey, this is where fulfillment, this is where joy, and this is where the extraordinary happen. So I hope in some type of way this was helpful or encouraging. If it was, I'd love if you'd be willing to share it with someone you care about and maybe even rate it and leave a review. And like always, you can always find other content that I'm producing on my website, timmyriggs.com, or on all my socials. Hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.